So, Coach Billis, you have been an elite college athlete, a coach, an analyst, an attorney, and a sports broadcaster. So, what are some of your most memorable highlights in your lifetime?
Wow. First of all, elite. I don't know if I'd use that word, but that's very kind of you. I've had so many, but most of them have to do with the people I was around. That the bucket list or the highlights that I've had have had to do with being able to play for Coach K at Duke, and to be able to say, I was a teammate with Johnny Dawkins or Mark Allery or Tommy Amick or David Henderson. Those guys. That's what I remember most, or the people that I was around. And if the quality of my experience was determined by the quality of people I was around, then I couldn't have had a better experience. I was really lucky.
That's great. So there's been a lot of talk about the news lately about the elite college athletes not going to class or not meeting the academic standards. So what should universities be doing to ensure that academic success before and after college?
Well, I think each university's standards are up to them and up to that particular school. I think with regard to some of these issues that we've seen, it's not always related to athletics. Athletics is may be affected by it, but I don't see how athletics affects the integrity of an institution. You either have integrity or you don't. And I think the academic side has to police itself. And whether it's an athlete sitting in class or a musician or an artist or someone in construction, doesn't matter. You're a student. And each student has to meet the same standard. Now, with regard to admissions and all those things, with regard to athletes or any other student, I think that should be up to each school to decide who they want to educate, who they want to admit, and what their standards are for success in a particular course or success in a particular field of study or a degree. That's up to the school. The rest of it, all these eligibility standards and national standards that we have, I don't think they do any good at all. I think they're a very little benefit.
Thank you. And what would you advise a rising 6th, 7th, or 8th grader who plays AAU ball but wants to be part of your camp someday or play college basketball?
Well, I think for any young player, you should do what's in front of you. I think when you may have it's probably the idea of a goal versus a destination, which I learned from Coach K, that you may think that you have a goal of someday playing in the NBA, but your goal should really be to be the best player you can be for your team right now, and to play in this game, to make every practice to do your best. And if you do that, if you strive for excellence in what you're doing right now, then someday, if you're good enough, you'll reach your destination. No 6th, 7th, and 8th grader is going to get to the NBA right now. You have to be a really good high school player first, then you have to be a really good college player. There are steps involved, and I think you have to, if you analogize it to a ladder, with the NBA being the top of that ladder, each rung is important, and you can get to the top of you can't get to the top of any ladder in one step, but you can get to the bottom in one step. So you have to take each step seriously.
That's a really good analogy. And finally, tell me about your book.
Well, it's called Toughness, Developing True Strength on and Off the Court. I wrote an article years ago for ESPN.com about what toughness means in basketball. And it was in response to hearing somebody talk about a player that I thought was kind of a bully, saying that player was tough, and I really didn't agree that he was tough. Because toughness to me isn't just physically knocking somebody around or starting a fight. Toughness is the guy who's willing to put in the extra work, who's the great teammate, who dives on the floor for a loose ball, things like that. And the one who perseveres through adversity. Shows the mental toughness and the mental courage to get up after he's been knocked down, things like that. And there are examples of it in every sport and every walk of life in the book from a lot of different people. And I wrote the book consulting all my friends and what toughness meant to them. And I wish I'd done it when I was a teenager, because I would have been a better player, I would have been a better friend, husband, father, everything. But I did it more for me. I hope somebody got something out of it. that would be a wonderful bonus. It's certainly not about me, because when you see the toughness and then my picture under it, you might get the idea that I'm talking about myself, and I'm not. I wasn't the toughest character, but I think the people I consulted for the book and that the stories about them in there will give you an idea what true toughness is really all about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being with you. Thank you.